Now, the difference between, the mime is a healing skill. The difference between making it all up and doing powerful healing is results, but also to see if it's the same the second time. Let's try it again. See how it's not as heavy the second time? Yeah. That tells you there was a change. I feel a little weight now if you do it a third time. Lighter. And the more levels of Reiki you do, the easier it is to feel things. So especially, not everybody will feel it right away. Oh, we're not done yet. But that's like all the things that were stopping you, or maybe old stuff, that you can feel the difference now. See, now that we got rid of all the old stuff, now there's more room. So now if you go to scent healing, see how it's like lighter and it's going in better. Yeah. Okay, then raise a hand up and ask for the perfect energy, the perfect whatever she needs. For areas of curve in her life. Yeah. See, if we hadn't broken up that stuff, I don't think all this new energy would go in as easily. How'd that feel? Tingly, we like tingly. Tingly usually means that there's blood flowing in areas of your body or psyche where it hasn't been flowing for a while. Who wants to be next? Alright, I'm going to teach you to do something you will never be asked to do in any class other than mine. I want you to practice.
Oh!
Everybody.
Buddha?
Everybody. Don't do it then. Face away from Buddha. That's okay.
That way. Really?
Yeah.
This way. This is okay. Out the door.
That's fine.
There you go.
So what I want you to do is imagine everything that's frustrating, annoying, and not going your way. And then the support. You do this with a client. You're trying to get all the negative energy that's stuck in their body out of their body. Yeah, now imagine your evil twin with a cheap special effects budget. Imagine a few good explosions. What would you do if you weren't such a nice person? Alright, how does that feel? And now relax. Now here's the bizarre. Once you can get past the joke of this, it is actually one of the most powerful healing techniques I have figured out. How are your shoulders now?
Better.
Isn't that amazing? Is that not one of the most bizarrely relaxing techniques ever?
Yeah.
Because what happens is all this emotion, because we are such positive people, and we work hard not to be negative and to kind of swallow our anger and upset, but the problem is we swallow our anger and our upset and it just builds up and builds up and builds up until somebody pokes us the wrong way and we spew it out over everybody. That's no fun. I find by using something that's normally a vulgar gesture, but using it in a healing fashion. It's, swearing at other people, the number of times that it's actually done anything useful is pretty close to zero.
Okay.
But using that same gesture, because instead of saying, here's an exotic mudra from India to release negativity, just having people do that for a moment, I think is really liberating. And when you get that emotion out of your body, think back to the things that were in your top 2 or 3 a minute ago. Do they have the same level of angst? That's how you can tell it worked. Because it drops the level of angst. Because it's like we become warehouses of all this old emotion. And then when we encounter that person again, or that problem again, we're ready to go off. Whereas if you can get rid of all that extra emotion and that person comes to you, you've got a lot more flexibility in how you handle it. And so I find, especially with your job, taking a few moments doing this every day before you go to work, and then do it again before you go home. And sit in the car. Cars are great. Just don't do it where all the other drivers can see.
It does seem silly, okay.
But the silliness is also helpful, because I think the biggest problem is we take our negativity so seriously. It's like, oh my God, I can't have the luxury of negative thoughts. Sure you can. The problem is we try to justify, especially positive people, we're like, well, if we weren't so positive, we could really be upset about this. You know, if we weren't such a nice person, we'd be really blowing, and we almost like end up like justifying it and trying to work it out and trying to prove why we have more right to be upset and negative than any other human being on the planet, even though we're trying not to. Or if instead you have a way of blowing off the steam, then it's just not that big